Hey there folks, and welcome to another Gran Turismo 7 130 mph tryouts. In this tryouts I am doing the Daihatsu Copen 2002. One of the weirdest K cars I ever known. So here's the parts that you can do to the Daihatsu Copen, which is a lot. You can basically do a lot to this little K car at the end of the day, which not surprised. I mean, these K cars are usually very tunable for the most part. Except if your name is the RJ Jacket, that's an exception because that is a Vision car. Because yeah, the Copen has two models. We have the regular Copen, and then we have technically the newer Copen, but that is the Vision version. So I hope in the future that we get the actual newer Copen in the future. But for now, it is what it is. I will say this car has two motors. It can have, which I don't know if we'll get the other one in the future, but it's a lot bigger motor compared to the K version here. But yeah, just to say, in case you're wondering if it has an off K version, it does. It's like a 1.2 liter motor. The normal, or 1.3 I should say. But yeah, otherwise that's basically all the parts you can basically do to it. Also, here's the wide body in case you want to see what the wide body does to the car at the end of the day. Which I'm not going to show this all the time, but sometimes I feel like I should. It does give a car a different approach, and also different parts too, I came to realize too, on some wide bodies. But yeah, for wheels, here we got basically the 15 inches of rims here, which yeah, that's pretty big for a K car. I gotta say, consider how bad that sticks out. So yeah, instead I stuck those on, which yeah, allows you to go 14 inch, which looks better. Because I'm sorry, I do want a little bit of my tire walls at the end of the day. Bit of a gap at least. Because it's really nice to have tire walls at the end of the day. And not. I think that's the big thing that to say when it comes to the design stuff. I like to keep it as moderate as possible when it comes to design cars at the end of the day. But yeah, I hope you like the vinyl, which you can technically get this too. I'll show it in a bit here. But yeah, you can do side skirts, you can change the rear bumper, or rear skirt, spoiler, and whatnot. Spoilers! I did. But yeah. I will say this vinyl is going to be unique though, because this is one I made in mind for the sponsor. I say sponsor loosely. Still has the number and everything. I should take the number off, because as a sponsor car, you shouldn't have the number. But it's fine either way. But yep, you can also have the headlights. Or change the headlights, of course. You can also change the license plate. So yeah, you can have it in the front like that, or you can have it like that too. Which regular it has the license plate right there, which I don't like that at all. I never like the license plate being on the side, unless it's a truck. If it's a truck with a big old metal bar in the front, that might work out better, but for as a car, no, not really. Rubber brakes, and here is the tuning that you can do to the Daihatsu Copen. But yeah, there's technically not much I technically did to it at the end of the day. If anything, I changed the gears so where it punches a bit better than usual. But as you can see there, it hits like a 123.454 on the south reverse of Grand Valley Highway, which is not bad either. That's pretty good for the most part. As a K car, that's not the worst, but it's okay for where it sits. There's other K cars that definitely do it like a flight of stairs better, I'll just say. I will say, because yeah, as a league, I would say this hits kind of more of a B in my performance, what it feels like. But yeah, you could also add the anti-lag system, which didn't really change it at all. It really depends on that car sometimes when it comes to that. And then high adjustment really doesn't need it when the car's already good enough because it's very adjusted, as we will say. And yeah, here's the vinyl, which this is based off the Cup Racer one, which gives it a dark blue instead of the Sunny Day yellow. But if you ever just want to get the Sunny Day yellow, just slap the Sunny Day yellow on it. If anything that might be different is the vinyl stuff. But yeah, the Daihatsu Copen 2002, I'm gonna be honest, I really don't have much to say for this because this company ceased to production since 1992 over here in the United States. And the last car it made was apparently the Daihatsu Rocky, which would look like a Jimny. So I guess if Gran Turismo should add a Daihatsu in the future, it'd be something like the Storia, the Rocky, and of course the famous one, and I can't technically say its name properly because if I say it, it's a slur, the Daihatsu Midge. I'm just gonna call it the Midge. Silence the T on that because yeah, it's M-I-D-G-T-T. I don't know why it's called that, they just called it that. As a 3-wheel truck in like 1952 or so. Yeah, I looked up my shit on this time around because I wondered if I needed better info, and you know what? It kind of helped in the process considering how much I'm able to talk right here. Well, besides this terrible cold I have, which, yeah, apologies if I cough or sound a little bit slurry, it's just, I had this cold and stuff. And it's been like basically 6 days now because it's the voice version, of course, of the cold. Or the throat one, in other words, which sucks when you get that one because, oh, well, say goodbye your whole week. This thing goes. But yeah, the Daihatsu Copen is a very fun little FF car, and it shocks me, but this is like only one of the FFs we have in terms of K cars in Gran Turismo 7. The only other FF car, and it's funny because they introduced this one, and to this day, in terms of the Sophie AI thing, can't even use this other car, which is the Honda M1. That's the other FF K car I know of that is the only FFs in this game. Oh, besides of course, the RJ jacket is the other one, which is a Vision, I want to say Cup Racer, built in mind for the second generation of the Copen that we also don't have. Which, I think the only reason on that because of the accusation Toyota had with Daihatsu since 2016. And not only that, I'm not even sure they're completely in business or not at this point. It's really weird when it comes to Daihatsu, and that's why this car is super strange in return. I will say the Daihatsu Copen is based off the Audi TT and other round body roadsters as well. Because yeah, I will say that top, you can pop it off. It's a convertible. Technically. Because matter of fact, I don't know if this applies to just the second generation, but from what I read, it apparently has a special D-frame style. This might just be more to the second generation, but to say you can remove the body panels and stuff and such, apparently. But yeah, that's basically the first bit of the laps right there, which yeah, we're hitting 123.592, which yeah, in terms of if you compare it to the Jeep, yeah, yeah, I gotta say. Not really great for the most part, but I will say what it lacks in acceleration, it has kind of great top speed, I'm not gonna lie for the most part. You're gonna notice that in the second part of this tryouts at the end, or the time attacks at the end of the day. For the first one here, I'm not surprised of it being this lackluster. The hill climb is probably what kills it the most, because if you just don't have a high climb speed, it's gonna affect this run big time. If I did it in the non-reverse, yeah, it'd technically be better, but the whole point of doing this track was the hill climb portion, because yeah, I will say, I will not only pick a balance track from now on, I will also pick this balance track for hill climb reasons, because I do want to see the car show a bit of exertion on top of it as it goes around the track at the end of the day. But yeah, the Copen Daihatsu is a pretty good car. It's not bad, it's not terrible for the most part. I would say in stats here, which once we get to here. But for now, let's see the lap here in 123.499. I don't know if that was better than the tune, but it's right there. I'll take it at the end of the day. Because as long as it's on par with the time, I consider it a win. If not, I'm trying it again. Alright, so now up to Goodwood here, which, yeah, Goodwood, where consistency and speed is a big thing when it comes to this track. The Copen, I think this is where it's going to shine big time at the end of the day. For the most part, because it being an FF means stability is not going to be much of a problem. Speed, it's going to basically put that all down at the end of the day, because I will say that's a great part about FFs in the lower power range. FFs are a lot better at the lower power ranges. It's just the higher up that they're just grown more unstable over time, or just burning the crap out of the front tires eventually. That's why you don't see FFs that had the capability to hit 250, because they're just not that good. And when I say 250, not as a freaking drag racer, as a freaking circuit racer, by the way, before anyone says that shit. I'm sorry. I want to see endurance racer FF that hits the capabilities in 250 miles per hour and not have a huge problem. And don't say the Nissan GT7 LM, because that did have a problem. But yeah, overall, in terms of stats, when it comes to Copen, I believe it's not bad overall. It's kind of a balanced one, to be honest. On the acceleration side, I would say, as we saw in terms of speed, it was like around 84-ish on the miles per hour. I think it's around, I would say, 3 stars in terms of acceleration. It's like a very modest pace so far. The speed, on the other hand, I think is where it's at when it comes to this car, because it does hit like a high, like I want to say 117. While turning is probably not going to be the grandest, because it is an FF, and FFs are known for oversteer. It's like one of the bad steers at the end of the day. FFs are known for that, where FRs are known for oversteer, I believe. Okay, so yeah, understeer for FFs in this case. But yeah, oversteer is when you turn and you're turning more than you should. Where understeer, you're turning less than you should. And stuff. And FFs are known for the opposite part, while FRs and especially MRs are somewhat known for the oversteer. Well, MRs especially are known for oversteer, because there's a lot of specialties when it comes to MRs a little bit. But yeah, the Daihatsu Copen, very phenomenal car at the end of the day. Heck, I think on the fuel part, I think it was like I want to say 2/3 of fuel too on top of it, so it's really good for the most part. Yeah, let's see this lap here. Like, yeah, 130.865 so far. That's pretty good so far for the most part, I gotta say. Now we'll look at the other times here. Let's see how it goes. Which I popped it up a little bit there. Whoops. I have a habit doing that sometimes. But yeah, now on to the better lap, which the better lap is already pretty amazing so far. 130.231. So I can get better than that. Holy crap. Which, in that case, in terms of Goodwood here, it needs to beat the Willys Jeep, which the Willys Jeep did a 129.851. If it beats that Jeep there, it kind of just beats the Jeep altogether. Throughout that race then. The only trouble it would probably have is a Ford Roadster, with the Ford Roadster sitting on 129.325. In terms of endurance race, if arcade race, the Roadster wins, like, no matter what. That's kind of why I don't do arcade settings, because if I did arcade setting, every car just needs to hit that time then. At the end of that. Which, no. That ain't gonna be right at all on that. Instead, I just want to test its endurance factors for now. Maybe one day I might do that, but for now I just don't kind of see the point of doing that. Besides, if a person wants to arcade race this versus this, which is more simpler, but you know, I'm not that bursting type of person at the end of the day. So I just want I want to give a full understanding of each of the cars and not give, you know, a limited option of the car at the end of the day, where this car is going to have much more horsepower to reach 130 because of this specific reason, you know, and that stuff. But yeah, 129.494. That was a left field smackdown. Holy crap. That almost beat the roaster. Holy crap. Then again, I think I realized something. I think I forgot to mention something very big when it came to that. I think I was shifting the gear wrong because I gotta remember this car gets a little picky around its gear RPMs a little bit. It sometimes strains more than it should, so you suffer a case of gear strain. So this is one of those cars that has a gear strain kind of problem. And that's just going to be there no matter what, I will say. But yeah, now on to Tsukuba here, which I don't think it's going to be that crazy for my call. Like I said, it's been like a freaking week because of my stupid call at the end of the day. Which hopefully I can back that up by just, you know, machine shooting episodes left and right, but we'll see in that matter. But for now, in terms of, I mean, considering I see the racing cart still behind me, that kind of tells me it's not really that grand about the lap times. I would say if you do not see that racing cart at all, that's gonna tell you how bad of a rank that is in that case for this car. But since you do see the racing car, at least it's kind of good for the most part. But yeah, we're hitting like a 107.156, which is really slow. That's kind of slower than the Fiat 500F right now, him 106.802, and that's at 5th place. Where you got the Mini Cooper, which is a 106.091, so it's got quite a curveball to deal with at the end of it. So yeah, I would say yeah, definitely turning not the greatest, probably like around, I don't know if I want to say 2 because it's stable for the most part. It's just, you know, it's just not a very turning vehicle. Which, yeah, you know, I always thought FS were crazy about turning and stuff. I feel kind of wrong about that sometimes. I don't know. I would say it's kind of myth debunked at the end of the day, to my understanding, because there's cases where cars just outright steer FFs any day, and they're not FFs. So. Or that's just how much the acceleration just says at the end of the day. I'm not sure what's the best way to say it. Yeah, 107.012 that time. But yeah, we're going to be doing 3 roundabouts because as the saying goes, 2 Tsukuba is only like a minute long for each lap, so that's not the worst. We do a 3 lap here of showing and before the best lap here. Stuff, but yeah, the Daihatsu Copen is just a very odd car to me for the most part. Because yeah, this is like one of the most. Technically, like, in terms of viewing, in terms of video games and stuff, this is like the last of the K cars we would ever see for a long time. Until games later on here brought K cars back into fruition, and not only that, like I said, I had to give a gold star to Trump for this occasion, but it's not like I fully hate him, but it's more like he's very controversial on his choice. I'll just say that. But yeah, just say though, I am happy that he is allowing K cars to be over here in the U.S. because K cars were just completely outlawed over here in the U.S. because states are just, oh, they're too fragile and shit. They'll break if we hit them with the big ass SUVs. Of course they would, you idiot. As the saying goes. Of course they freaking would. They're not that big and stuff. And then not only that, I do find, you know, sometimes our crash safety testing can be a little bit too restricted sometimes. I'm not saying like it's all bad, but I gotta admit there's like cases where cars should have still got the pass because they should at the end of the day. But I will say there is probably a lot of bad cars at the end of the day. Like, I guess what I'm saying is, if the car could take a bad ram, just leave off it, I think it's fine. If it can't take the bad ram, just flies, that's not good. That's thing goes. But I will say, the bad ram should be measured based on the size of the car, which in this case a K car, it should be a minor bad ram at the end of the day. And stuff. Yeah, 106.824. That was the best lap, right? Yeah. So yeah, 108. 106.824. Not bad. Not bad. Overall, I think it. Yeah, did it beat? No, it did not beat the Fiat. The Fiat, it was close to beating the Fiat, but it was not good enough. For the most part, it did beat the Sports 800, but like that wasn't gonna be challenged. I'm not gonna be surprised that Sports 800 is gonna be like the most lackluster one I've ever driven. And I feel bad because I thought I had some fun with it at the end of it. I guess not. But yeah, here's the events you can do at the end there, which is probably like mostly just the Sunday Cups. I don't know if Japan had an FF. Oh yeah, I think they do. Yeah, you can do Japanese FFs with this too. You can also do the lightweight K Cup as I've shown here, because all you have to do is just slap on comfort softs and you're good. And it will do it. It will do it. It's pretty good at it. Matter of fact. Yeah, overall the Copen's pretty accessible for the most part for the events that it have. They need to try to add more low events. I would love to see if they add like a cup event and stuff. Just had grade force just lowered down in cup speed. I kind of hope that they do that one day, but for now it is what it is. So on to the race, which I forgot to take pictures for the event stuff, so sorry about that. But we are at Sardega, which is I believe layout B, I think. We're at layout B, which is one of the Sophie accessible ones. So yeah, we got some interesting candidates here, which I picked this track in mind for, since Copen was known for speed, we might as well pick a speed track at the end of it. It has a bit of a hill climb too, I will say too, so that might hit it just a bit bad, but it is what it is at the end of it. But yeah, we got a Fiat Abarth 500 2009, we have a Swift Sport 2007 XNR, Plymouth XNR Gia Roadster, Clio RS220 Trophy, Subaru BRZ STI Sport, I believe 2015 or 18. Yeah, 2018. Never mind. C3 Corvette convertible. Cause yeah, there's two C3s by the way when it comes to this game. Let's see what else we got here. Well, I'm looking at the front, which we have an M3 Sport Evolution, a Delta HF Integrale, we have a Toyota Tundra TRD Pro something, I can't remember what exactly. Oh, you have a Silvia K here on the left here. Silvia K DS Selection S13. I think they're just straight up just called DS, a DS3 Racing, which is always the weirdest one to me because it's from DS, which is also Citroen, right? It's kind of weird. We got Mini Cooper S, so yeah, we got a bunch of the fun hatchbacks here with us in this race. I will say there is one big opponent to beware of, which I say beware of because I am going to show a dead proof here in a minute here, but for now, you're going to notice it eventually. But yeah, we basically in top speed though, while this is fast, they're just faster. As the thing goes. I'm just a big old magnet just for the case. Which could be good or bad. Probably bad, I would say. Yeah, just me versus the Super BRZ, which I would consider that one of the opponents too, with the BRZ here, because I'm not surprised because the BRZ is really good at just overall endurance, as been shown throughout the endurance racing, because I have been catching on like what's the good opponents here, and that Subaru is usually one of them, or you know, the GT86 in other words. Yeah, the Tundra TRD Pro here, which yeah, we got two of those. Yeah, I tried to do less dupes, I just still got it at the end there. We got the, oh yeah, the Skyline GTSR R31. We got this one here. Makes me wonder if we'll ever get the R30, this thing goes. And then we got the Delta HF Integrale, as I mentioned earlier. Big old fabulous all-wheel drive hatchback that's on crappy comfort medium tires. I feel bad for it. But then we got two Jaguar E-Type here, which you would think these would be the real pawns, but as the saying goes, they're on comfort mediums as well. Not the greatest for the most part. And a Shelby GT350, that's just fucking left field, okay. As it goes. However, here's the real opponent right here, which is the Ford Escort RS Cosworth. And I'm not surprised because this thing is very strong when you do battle with this. And I would say somewhat for a right reason, but you're gonna realize a very wrong reason at some point. And I will show it eventually here, but for now it is what it is. As we see here. But yeah, the Abra 500 just cruising along as usual. I noticed the AI when it comes to driving this 500, they just don't really go crazy with it. Yeah, Suzuki Swift just right ahead for now. Got the Plymouth Exxon RG Roadster again, just cruising about. You come for mediums. But I will say, this is a fun, fast little car for the car that later got promoted in the Fallout live action show. Sit on top of it. That's the crazy part. I am happy because that was the type of car that should be in Fallout at the end of the day. But yeah, you got the Tundra TRD Pro. Got the Mini Cooper S. But yeah, we need a new Mini Cooper for God's sakes. Where is those John Coopers? They're GT7 for God's sakes. I would love for some new Mini Coopers. I just don't understand why they're just not here. We just got the Mini Cooper, which is kind of like based off the Mini 1 concept way back. This is the bad part. And then you got the Subaru BRZ. He's trying to get up there now. Get up there a little further and such. We got the Delta he's leaning back now because of he's on comfort mediums. Like I said, that comfort mediums dooms some cars here in terms of performance. Stop racing cars though, they act very much different. Which yeah, I'm not surprised the DS3 passing the Delta because of the fact that it has comfort softs. And then yeah, the BRZ has sports tires, which yeah, that's definitely a performance difference. I will know if that C3 was on sports, he'd be hauling ass. He'd be downright hauling ass. And then you got the Skyline GTS-R and Comfort Sauce, which that's pretty good. For now as it is. Because I will say the Skyline didn't really, rose up to be a supercar predator till the R32. The R31 was something though. This is the R32 is where it's really at. And I'm not saying the R31 can't be supercar performance. It's just compared to the R32 in terms of stock performance, the R31 is just a bit less of what the R32 can be in capability, and it's gonna be because the R32 is all-wheel drive with the special Altessa. Which if you don't know, the Altessa allows you to steer even more crazier than a regular all-wheel drive tranny. Which is insane, because you can really pull a lot of drift factors with that car at the end of the day. You know, a rear drive car is insane about drifting. The Altessa all-wheel drive system is really crazy about that too. Oh yeah, we also have a Corvette C1. I keep forgetting this was here. Don't mind it, it just exists. Everything goes. Yeah, in terms of fuel consumption here, we got the Silvia at 2/3 right now. We got the XNR Roadster, which I'm not surprised the fuel consumption on the XNR because it is a 6 inline. It's not a freaking V8, thank God. Because yeah, say hello to the biggest problem about V8s if you ever floored them. As the thing goes. You got your inline 4s of Swift and Abra 500 in the back. Which, yeah, that's what weirds me out the most. Which, yeah, speaking of Fiat 500, I wonder if we get another Fiat 500 in the future too. Or maybe it's the other one, which is the 600. We got the rest in too, which is like a, I think that's the crossover or something like that. I can't remember exactly. It would be nice to technically add some crossovers, I will say. Some of the interesting ones, not the really, they look like eggs. So it's like crossovers. I don't want that. I want more of a style to them, And not only that, represent a good style, not just a bad style. Overall. Got DS3 Racing go to town. Got the Corvette convertible in 10th now, but his fuel is only like a third now, which not surprised. Like I said, V8. This thing goes. You get the Skyline GTS-R, the E-Type Coupes in half, but they're not surprised. Those cars are pretty good at that too. It's that heck yeah, they're be more than the Subaru BRZ. Matter of fact, you got the Clio. Got Copen so far. Not surprised about Bird. It's pretty good. And Shelby, yeah, he's about to burn. I'm not surprised in that case. The M3 here, yeah, he's in the same mark too. I'm kind of shocked about his case, but then again, I have heard inline 6 is kind of hit on par with V8 sometimes. That's why it's kind of just preferred to go with the inline 4. I hate to be that douche. That's probably why inline 6 is getting kind of phased a little bit, and I hate to say that. But that might be the reason. Passing the Shelby here. By Shelby. Yeah, eventually they allowed me to pass the Shelby. And yes, I'm gonna say they eventually allowed me, because yeah, he was on ass earlier. And now he's chilling. Now, there's one opponent I am worried and concerned of throughout this whole race was be that Ford Escort RS Cosworth. That car hauls ass. It just surprised me to this day that Ford did not bank on the inline 4 very much. I don't feel like, I feel like they didn't bank enough when it comes to performance of the inline 4 in general. When it comes to that. Because at best, we had the Focus. That's really it. And they killed that. So, you know. This is good. Yeah, the Escort RS Cosworth is like the biggest part to deal with and stuff. Alright, so now that's kind of hit like a third of this, I might as well start mentioning things I kind of hope that kind of get added in terms of Daihatsu vehicles. I might as well talk about it, because this is probably going to be like the only Daihatsu car I'm going to be touching, period. Besides the RJ jacket. Because Daihatsu is one of those strange automobiles that you're kind of surprised it exists to this day, but overall basically got overcrowded by the higher ups of automobiles up to the end of the day that it basically got phased out. And just became another subsidiary of Toyota at the end of the day after Toyota bought most of the stocks for it. And became complete ownage to it at the end of the day. Considering the Copen is not technically called the Daihatsu Copen, it's technically called the Daihatsu GR Copen. Because yeah, they decided to slap the GR to it on top of it. Which, is it good? I don't know, to be honest. I assume it kind of is for the most part, but you know. But if anything, I think it's just safe to say what Daihatsu is used for in terms of Toyota's case is just for K-car stuff. Because then you have the other special ones like the Daihatsu Move. You have the Daihatsu Terios. You have like the Daihatsu Midge. For trucks, in other words. Which, there is another name for that, I already forgot what it was, so sadly, I think it's like, no, it's not the Mirror Gino. The Mirror Gino is a hatchback they have, which I don't know if it's the successor to the Storia or not, in that case, but yeah, speaking of famous hatchbacks, the Storia, because a lot of people know about the Storia because of the rally car that was in Gran Turismo 2 and such, so hopefully they end up adding that too, because that's a relic of a time. I can't say if it was like the best rally car, but it was pretty cool for what it looked at the end of it. Just a cute little hatchback, very odd shape, but then again, that's kind of the specialty when you look at all these Daihatsu cars. You come to realize they have like a very special shape going on in some way. I will say, like, some cars look very similar. Like the Daihatsu Midge is kind of essentially like, you know, the Honda Acti trucks or the Suzuki Carry truck, which, yeah, you'll be seeing that eventually too as well. I have a lot of things to say about that as well. Because, yeah, it's kind of weird, because I think Toyota owns both of them at the end of the day. It's just kind of weird that both Suzuki and Daihatsu do K cars. But I guess Daihatsu does the K cars side in hatchbacks a little bit, while Suzuki... Actually, no, it's still weird, because Suzuki does hatchbacks too, because they're the Swift. Although, I will say that's a bigger hatchback, it's not a K hatchback. Because what I've referred to in Daihatsu's case, they do mini hatchbacks. And stuff. And such. I just will say this, I just hope as always, more K cars, because I love them. They're toy cars to me. I love seeing them at the end of the day. You know, I might be taller than the car at the end of the day, considering they do have a height limit, considering the biggest problem about the Copen, if you're like 6 feet over, you're not sitting in that car. I'm telling you that now, unless you're convertible. Otherwise, not happening. Because these cars were made for, I don't want to be offensive to actually short people, but I will say these early ones were. The later ones, I think they fixed that problem big time, for the most part. I kind of hope they did, for the most part, on that. If not, that kind of sucks for people who are tall at the end of the day. But yeah, that's the biggest problem when it comes to K-cars in a nutshell, is that height is a big problem. If you're like over 6 feet, you're not going to be sitting in that car. I hate to say somewhat, unless you mod it, adjust it to where it can. It'll be kind of weird though, because it might be a bit of a bulge, but yeah. It works. Just hope your head's not hitting it. You know. But yeah, just look at the driver here. His head looks like he's about to hit the top. Which, that's bad. You don't want that, because if you so happen to hit a bump and somehow the bump lifts you high enough to hit that top, you're going to have a concussion. Some shit like that. Which that's bad for in terms of design. That's the worrisome design factor of a K car, but I will say, I think that problem has been diminished a little bit in the newer ones, I hope. For the most part. But yeah, as I will say, that the Copen also has a second engine option, which I do hope that second engine option happens, because that is the European spec of Copen, I believe, from what I read, but I could be wrong. But I just know there's an alt they have which had the 1.3 motor in it, and I'm curious how good that one is. Considering, I mean, for Jimny we have the K car, and then we have the regular one. I kind of hope the Copen gets the same treatment about that, too. And such. But yeah, going in for fuel at this point, because when the Escort went in, the E-Types, I think the E-Types were chasing after me this whole time. But yeah, the biggest one I'm worried about is that dang Escort, because look at the times he's pulling here. He just did a 136 at some point. Yeah, he's hauling ass. But yeah, this is where I can show the dead proof at this point, because as we see where he hits here, 135.681. Now to show the dead proof. So if someone were to say that AI was doing legitimate speeds, I could safely tell you, in the most hardest felt saying, you are dead wrong. Like, you are so dead wrong on that. I did this car with the same setup that he had, sports hards, normal, I assume normal parts, because I kind of have to, it's custom. I'm doing like a 141.7. He's doing a 135.837 there, or 681. It's like one of the numbers there, but holy fuck balls is that fast. And bullshit at the same time. So if anyone wants dead proof on how bullshit this Gran Turismo AI can be, there you go. And just to say, I don't have the catch-up on. I don't have any other means of them allowing to catch up on. This is just how it is when it comes to this. And the biggest problem I hate about the Sophie AI, because do they really need this? No, they don't really need this. It's just they're given this option, and then they're going to take full exploitation of usage of doing this at the end of the day. And that's the dead proof I hate the most, for the most part, when it comes to custom race in a nutshell. Because they'll just suddenly have a boost of a catch-up system and just start skyrocketing in the most unnecessary times possible, never giving you that chance to do a best lap period, because of the fact they just skyrocket 2 times more speed than ever before. They're hitting, like, I would say they're hitting speeds that I think a GT car would hit, for the most part. Or I would say a super car would hit, for the most part. They're hitting speeds of that measure, what it feels like. And it's so BS at the end of the day. It's so BS. Like 136, 138, because he's now getting closer up to me, so he's going to start chilling, pretending that, oh, hey, I'm just gonna chill here now because, oh, I got up to him. Yeah, in a 5-second gap, for God's sake. God damn, game. Chill the fuck out. It's like they are in a measure to beat you no matter what. And the worst part is, this ain't the only game that does this. Something like, I really shouldn't really do the comparison, but Disney Speedstorm for this case, they will just turn around and just immediately catch up to you if they so happen to get an option to. Because they want to make sure that, quote unquote, the AI is on par with you. Yeah, except not in the most fairest way possible. And consider what my friend's been telling me about Snow White being the most broken character, and she's the character that's supposed to be the most fairest of them all. By the way, like, holy shit balls. I'll just say that. Like, good God. Good grief. On that matter, just like, damn. But yeah, and so far in terms of the line, this looks about right so far. What cars would, get to the end at the end of the day, except for the big old cheating Ford Escort there. Big time. Even though, I mean, the BMW is not much better. It isn't 136, but yeah, now I'm about to fight against this Escort here for the finish line at the end of the day. I'm just trying to push this car as much as I can. It's just like, this is the worst fucking artificial exploitation I have ever witnessed. And I have it on full display footage, and no one's not gonna bitch about it at the end of the day. But yeah, just trying to fight against the Escort at the end of the day. Hopefully I win at the end of the day, even though I technically should have, but not when he's doing the exploit crap on top of it. Just like, wow. Just very much wow. But I don't know to say if this is a fair race or not at this point. I mean, technically, you should beat me by, like, if they actually allowed normal numbers, like as shown there. I did a 141, which, yeah, that would technically beat the Copen in that case, except for fuel reasons. That's the only reason I would say to that. On that judgment call, I would say, but yeah, otherwise, I should be on par with the Escort RS Cosworth at the end of the day. But not when they're pulling left-hand chicanes. Now, will I say, is this because it's on professional? Yes, it's on professional, but the thing is, I don't think that matters. I really don't think that matters for the most part when it comes to difficulty adjustment calls. For the most part. I just love that though. Give away for faster cars, even though you're technically faster than me. Yeah, the Escort's just trying to fight at this point. But yeah, that's what the Sophia should be doing, something like that, which does make sense. But no, then you get that really nice rubber band, which, oh, that must be so nice. Yeah, so I'm doing anything in my power just to fight against this Escort at the end of the day. He's a good God. Like, oh my God, he's after me. He got me like I'm stealing something at the end of the day. And stuff like that. Yeah, got the Tundras in the back, but not surprised. Fuel consumption is a big deal. Because of that. But yeah, overall, when it comes to the Copen, I would say a rank B. It basically does what it should do, and that's really kind of about it. It's not really crazy for the most part, and I understeered so hard that I fucked up. It's fine though. I'm gonna get him. Cause yeah, like I said, as soon as they pass you, then they'll chill. Just watch. Just watch here. But yeah, considering I just did about the same lap as I did with the Escort, matter of fact. Cause yeah, I had to quick test that. I had to quick test that real hard. It's like, they don't really go that fast, do they? They're still freaking wait. No, they don't go that fast at all. I just uncovered a hard truth about this rubber band sometimes. How BS it can be, considering 6 seconds quicker. Like, holy crap. Like, that's even faster than what any pro driver could ever provide. Quicker. That's ridiculous, guys. I'm sorry. Like, I get it. Like, they need to get up eventually, but like, come on, I want a pure skill fun. I don't want to see BS at my door the next very day. What feels like, you know, it's just like, come on. So yeah, now I'm just trying to fight against the escort, which yeah, the escort has chilled out finally. Thank God for that. Yeah, because now he's hitting like a 144. That's as basic as I thought. That thing goes. But yeah, overall, the Copen overall just not a bad car, I would say. It's just like when you do a competition, stiff competition like this, which then again, this is a really tough competition because reminder, I'm taking it against a sports car technically, because I do consider the Escort a sports category. It's in the 186 miles per hour, and it's pretty fast of doing so. And such, 186 miles per hour, which is 300 kilometers. In case you're wondering. Well, I will say I did change Super Sport. It's now called GT instead. But yeah, basically at this point I got the Escort this time around. I had to block him. Hope to God he doesn't try to pass me at all. Because yeah, this is Australia after all. This is where he shines the most. It looks like somehow staying on par with me in terms of speed. I don't even know what to say to that. But yeah, I basically got the Escort at that point. Yeah, after that bombshell, that about wraps up for this tryouts there, people. I hope you like what you watched there, and until then, I'll see you guys on next time. For now, enjoy this little teaser, which is the Renault R4 GTL 1985 is next. So until then, see you guys all next time. Take care.